In the quiet hours of the night, when the world grew still and shadows stretched across the floor, he sat by his desk, pen in hand, paper before him. The lamp cast a golden halo over the page, illuminating the words he'd begun and erased and begun again. Outside, the wind whispered against the window pane. Inside, his thoughts gathered like rain clouds, heavy and unresolved. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories that stay with you long after the screen fades. He had always believed himself a man of action, not of words. But tonight was different. Tonight, the words demanded to be written, even if they never found their way to the one who haunted his thoughts. His hand trembled slightly as he began, careful, deliberate. The ink bled softly into the page. He started with her name, just her name. It had become a prayer in his solitude, a melody that lingered in the silence after laughter faded. He traced each letter with reverence, as though the act of writing could conjure her presence, could bridge the widening gap of days and misunderstandings. He wrote of memories, the afternoons spent walking beneath the city's ancient trees, the way sunlight glanced off her hair, the sound of her laughter echoing over the river. He wrote of the small things, the secret language of glances and quiet smiles, the comfort found in shared silences. He wrote of the moment it all began to change, the distance that crept in unnoticed, growing wider with every unspoken fear. He confessed the things he could never say aloud, the truth of his regret, the ache of missed chances, the stubborn pride that kept him silent when he should have reached out. He told her how often he turned to speak, only to find the words caught in his throat, too heavy with uncertainty. He admitted how often he replayed the last goodbye, searching for some sign he'd missed, some hope he could still hold. Have you ever held on to something unsaid? If so, you're not alone. Subscribe for more quiet truths like this. He wondered if she thought of him too, in the quiet moments before sleep, when the world was reduced to memory and longing. He hoped she knew he was sorry, for the hurt, for the distances built on things left unsaid, for the love that had nowhere to go but into words on a page. He wrote of hope, too, fragile and persistent. He wrote of wishing for another chance, for a conversation unburdened by the past, for forgiveness whispered in the dark. He imagined their paths crossing once more, imagined laughter like it used to be, imagined the possibility of healing. But as he wrote, the letter changed. It became less a message for her, and more a confession for himself, a way to name the truths he'd hidden, a way to release the weight of longing. There was comfort in the act of writing, in giving shape to sorrow and hope, in seeing his heart rendered in careful script. He read the letter once and then again, the words both unfamiliar and intimately his own. There was no anger here, only longing, only honesty. He folded the paper and slipped it into an envelope, her name written on the front. For a moment he considered sealing it, imagined the journey it might take, the door it might open. But he set the envelope aside, placed it in the drawer with the others. Letters never sent, truths never spoken. He understood at last that some words were meant for the silence, for the gentle solace of pen and page. Some goodbyes were written not to be delivered, but to find peace within oneself. As the night deepened, he turned out the light, the letter resting quietly in the darkness. And though the words would never reach her, he felt for the first time in a long while that he could breathe again. Some stories are never sent, but always felt. If this story touched something in you, don't leave quietly. Subscribe to Timeless Life Talks for more stories that speak to the soul.